It's like in that moment, we're not in our head, we're just in the moment.
And it's like, we think like when we're in hard times, sometimes we get stuck in it and we're like, we can't even see the bigger picture.
I was afraid. And I think it was the first time I felt afraid in a way.
It's okay to admit that I'm empty.
I was 36 with a disease that could possibly take my life.
That it has shaped my faith today and how I work with people.
Still dreaming, still here, still living. And when they ask us how we did it, we'll tell them.
Welcome to Journey with Dr. J. No destination, just the journey. This isn't just a podcast, it's a journey. And it's one we don't just listen to, but we live together. Wherever you're at on your journey, keep going, keep growing, and never lose that fire inside that lights the path towards hope.
So journey with me today as we invite right off the bat one of my favorite people on the whole planet, Miss Asha. Come on down.
This is my good side. Okay, I'm usually not the nervous type, but I'm feeling a little nervous, but I'm gonna go ahead and share a poem that is called Empty. She said it's okay. It's okay to admit that I'm empty, when all I want to be filled with is warmth and love, but I can't find even a tendril of genuine joy.
It's okay to admit that I'm empty, when I'm surrounded by success and support, but I can't find any way to come back to myself. It's okay to admit that I'm empty, when the tears rush out and when they can't be summoned. It's okay to admit that I'm empty. She said, admitting that I'm empty was a sign of vulnerability, but it's the first sign that I'm ready to start healing again. On my journey back to myself, unlearning, I admit that I am empty, and I will be filled again, and I will write again, and I will trust again.
Okay, I read that poem for the first time, don't judge me, at a stop, like in a car, like 2 days ago. And I was just in tears at the stoplight. I was like in tears. If anyone had their own reflection or connection to it.
So I have an Instagram and Facebook called Latinas Still Standing. So this poem says, we are Latinas, we are still standing in a world that told us we were too loud, too bold, too brown, too much, and yet we still rise. We carry scars like sacred jewelry, speak our truth in boardrooms, barrios, and sanctuaries, build futures from the dust and the mud where they tried to break us. We are Latinas, we are still standing. We are Latinas still standing. We are the daughters of madres who prayed, some with calloused hands, and the granddaughters of generations of strong abuelas of faith. We are Latinas. We've buried, we've lost, we've cried, we've gotten back up, and we continue to get back up. We rise by our faith, by the fire in our hearts and our souls, by our familia, y con el poder de Dios. We are Latinas still standing, still dreaming, still here, still living. And when they ask us how we did it, we'll tell them, con el favor y sangre de Dios and the blood and sweat and tears of our ancestors on this land, because of their strength and their faith, we are here and we are powerful. Tenemos el poder de Dios siempre. Latina still standing.
Obviously, I told you like that hit me. I didn't even know what button it hit. I just started crying. I'm like, I don't even know what it hit. And I love that it like hit you in a way that prompted you to share, because so much of this process and why I wanted to create this space is because professionally, I have worked with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. And the common denominator, whether they are from Milwaukee or New York or California or Arizona or Tennessee or whatever their profession or age or demographic is, there is this fight to withhold feelings. And we don't always have a process to process our feelings. And the fact that you just shared both of your process, I feel like unlocked even an emotion in me that I used to fight. Thank you so much for sharing.
It's easy to compare yourself to other people's accomplishments. And, we spent a lot of time working on social media and the impacts that has on your perception of what other people's lives look like. And so I wrote that, I think, like 6 years ago now, and I was in law school and everyone was like, wow, you've accomplished so much and you're so great. And I sat and I was like, man, I feel like completely empty inside. Like I'm not doing anything for myself. I'm not doing anything that fuels me. And it wasn't just in a professional sense. I think that's usually rarely what actually brings up big emotions, or at least in my life. It was my personal life that was lacking. It was struggling with abandonment and struggling with betrayal and struggling with cheating and struggling with things that can happen at any juncture of your life, but recognizing that it didn't matter how many academic successes I had or how great my life was with my friends or my family, that something that hits you really hard or some kind of a pain or trauma that you go through, it can empty out, your entire being, or at least with the tools I had back then, it emptied out my entire being. And so I think there's a struggle I felt and that I still deal with every day, which is how do I balance being grateful for everything that I do have while still recognizing there's things that hurt and things that I'm missing and things that I can keep looking for in my life. And you taught me that, so. This poem was inspired by Julia also. She told me, I guess I should explain that part. It's not like self-explanatory. I used to follow her around like a puppy dog. I still do, actually. She's like my big sister, but she had done a speaking event at a university and I had gone to participate to hang out with her. I used to be her intern back in the day. That's how I know her. And after the event, she asked me, like she always asks me, how are you doing? And, for anyone that knows me, I absolutely hate that question and I do not ever usually answer it. But I always answer it with people I can trust. And so I said that I'm feeling empty, and that poem basically came out of that conversation that we had. And it didn't happen overnight or over a week or a month, but eventually I did find my voice again. So there is hope.
I think the line that hit me the most is, I will be filled again. I will write again. And it's that idea that there is an again. And even if there's a loss you've experienced, again can be shaped differently. And maybe feelings of, I can't X, Y, and Z move on. Like I can't be joyful again. I can't maybe write again, or I can't laugh again, or whatever it is after any type of loss or betrayal or abandonment. And that again is something that you can note to self, like maybe again, or maybe I will again. And I wonder for each of you what that again will be. Maybe I'll dance again. Maybe I'll reach out to that person again. Maybe I'll love again. Maybe I'll pursue my passion again. I really love that. And now I'm going to put you on the spot. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an activity. We have a dart wall here, and he is going to come and pop a dart. And in the dart is a pregunta, which is a question. And then you're both going to answer it.
Fantastic.
Okay? Sound good? For those of you listening who can't see, he's approaching the dartboard. He is grabbing a dart. This is like, show them the whole situation here.
Open, just like you rip open your emotions.
Wow.
Right? Is that the plan?
Yeah,
I knew you had a plan.
Rip
for that.
out the emotions.
Rip out the emotions.
Yes.
Okay.
And now you get to unpack it here.
Oh, I on the couch?
Yes, come on the couch. All right, what is your question?
All right.
What is a dart
Have you
deal?
ever been held back by doubt, even when your heart knew the way forward? Yeah, many times. Actually, me and Julia met here in Phoenix a long time ago. And my wife got married and she got a job with Amazon in Seattle. And we were obviously going to move and take this job. But I had spent so many years here attempting to establish myself and build a career and figure out who I was, because I had left from Cleveland and I was the first one in my family to leave and go somewhere else. And I was always fearless. But for some reason, I decided, I'm not ready to give up all that I spent building to go somewhere else and go to another city and start over and network and friends and all this stuff. And I was afraid. And I think it was the first time I felt afraid in a way. But I realized really quickly my heart was with my wife. My priority was my wife, and my mentor helped me realize, where's your priority, John? And I was like, oh, that's my wife. Forget all of this network and the job and the career.
Say it again. Say it into the mic.
My priority was my wife.
That sounds good. I like it.
It still is. But I was the first one in my family to ever get married. I didn't know my father. I didn't know what it meant to be a husband. I didn't know what it meant to prioritize another person and become one with another person. So doubt was more so ignorance, but my heart knew the way. And because I spent time reflecting on my heart and not my career or these external things, I was able to give up my last 6 years that I was spending and go with my wife to then start a whole nother phase of our life together that ultimately ended up being the best thing I've ever done.
Women always know.
Women are always right.
Amen. Amen. Audience member who wants to shout out.
I just simply wanted to say I love everything you said.
This episode is called Wifey Knows Best. Brought to you by New Times and Power 92 FM. Anyone remember Movie Phone? Anyone remembers Movie Phone watching? You used to have to dial a phone number to listen to what movies were playing and when. Okay?
I do remember that.
Yeah, and they would be like, hello, this is Movie Phone, brought to you by New Times and Power 92 FM. Press A for the Avengers. Press B.
That was so long ago.
Okay, I'm done. All right. I know, I'm not the funny one. Back to the couch.
That's when you had to call 411 to figure out phone numbers.
Y'all don't understand. We didn't have cell phones. All right, Asha, how would you respond to that question?
I think there's, like what John said, there's so many times where you do feel your instinct, right? That's what people call your gut feeling. You know what you want to do and you feel drawn towards it, but there's something that's holding you back. The example I'm going to share is I was at a crossroads a couple years ago, similar about I had built this network, I had built this, really stable, predictable career that on paper I should have accepted. And my alternate was this public health law fellowship that was a few months long with no guaranteed outcome, and definitely not as great of a paycheck as my option A. And so I think trying to be practical and trying to figure out where my responsibilities and my priorities lied, I had to do some reflection on what I wanted to do with my life. I was lucky enough to be in a spot where I didn't owe anyone anything except myself. But I had to give myself permission. I don't have to do what my mom wants or what my friends expect out of me. I'm allowed to take a risk and follow my heart. And so I did that, and I have no regrets about it. And I think that that's an example to me of the way that you respect your own boundaries and you honor yourself. You say, I'm worthy of listening to myself, even if it's not everyone's right decision, it's my right decision.
You know what I felt immediately? There was a way you said, even though I'm not caretaking for other people, I still kind of shrunk when you said myself.
Yeah.
Did I just interpret that, or did that happen?
No, that's true. Because I feel like sometimes maybe other people feel this expectation too. There's all these big things, there's these big buckets of life. There's your career, there's your family, there's your love life, there's your friendships, there's your community, your spirituality. And these things I think I've often let take priority over me. They are important enough, they are valuable enough. That's a good reason to go somewhere because someone I love wants to be there, because my family is there. But is it a good enough reason if I just want to do it? And I didn't feel that until I committed to it. And I still don't know if I'm convinced about it. I think that's what you picked up on, but that's not selfish. I think you're allowed to, I think you are allowed.
Yes, there we go.
That just you want to do.
And there doesn't even have to be a reason.
There doesn't have to be a reason.
You don't have to validate your choice and say it because I really care about this. Or you're allowed to just want things and pursue them.
Yep.
And you're not in any less of a role in life if you don't have children to care for or a spouse, or you're transitioning in or out of those roles. You're not any less valuable.
You are good enough. You are important enough. And all those other roles that we take in life are big, but respecting the relationship we have with ourselves is, I think, very, very hard. That self-love journey is very, very hard journey. Happened again. I'm always working on that. And there's always doubts, but you can't let that overpower the sound of other things like passion or instincts.
Can we please give it up for John? I'm going to go back to the handwritten note card. If anyone would like to share just something that was on their card, we're going to pass the mic over here to the audience. It's coming to you from stage left.
Hi, my name is Felicia. I did get a card and it said something about I'm depressed and I didn't want to talk about stuff because it would be I didn't want to be a burden and all this other stuff. But just being here tonight has been incredible. First of all, I can relate to a lot of you guys and your stories. I have a mother who was an absent mother. She left when I was 2, and I was raised by my father and my grandmother. My mother was an alcoholic and she was very abusive, and we spent some summers with her, but I always knew that I was not going to be her. Like, I just wasn't going to go down that road of being her. And I was told my whole life, you're her, you look like her, you act like her, you're going to be just like her. And I refused. But in 2012, I tried to let her back in, and I tried to fix this relationship and mend it. And it wasn't there. She didn't want to do it. She didn't want to do the work. And I was going through my journey of trying to heal myself. And so I said, okay, that's it. She started drinking again, and I asked her to leave. And then in 2018, I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer at the age of 36. She tried to call me, and I told her that if she wanted to be there, she could be there. But I didn't need her to be there. And she went off on me, and she said that I was an effing liar and that you're just like your father. No wonder why you deserve to be sick. Back in February, she got a liver. She had a liver transplant. And I thought to myself, I was a little angry because I was like, why does she get a liver? Like, she drank that, like why does she get that? Well, she reached out to me, and it triggered a lot of stuff that day. I couldn't think straight. I was lost. That whole night, I stayed up almost for 24 hours. And this is what I wrote. Mother, you don't get to just come back into my life because you got a second chance at life. What I need you to understand is the damage that has been done. You made the choice to leave when I was just 2 years old. All I ever wanted was a mother who could love me for me, a mother who could understand and listen to my needs, a mother who knew her daughter so well that by giving her a hug or a laugh fixed it all. A mother that could argue, but yet made you better to want to grow with me. Things always seemed to be my fault when you weren't getting your way. Yet I kept letting you back in. I listened to so many say, she's your mother and she isn't well. She's a drunk. Don't let what she says get to you. I was so easily supposed to forgive you because that's what the Bible says. I'm supposed to just bury and suppress everything I had endured from you as a mother who didn't give no shits. A mother who made her men a priority before her children. A mother who blamed everyone else but herself. A mother who could just let the most ruthless things roll off her tongue because once again, she wasn't getting her way. So the day you wrote those words telling me that I was an effing liar and that I was just like my father and that I could deserve to be sick, that right there was my breaking point. Who in their right mind would ever tell anyone that, let alone your own daughter, a daughter who was only the child in all of your mess and lies? I had stage 3 colon cancer. Do you know what that meant? I was 36 with a disease that could possibly take my life. You had no clue. Why? Because you chose not to get yourself out to be a better mother. So I put myself in the most intense therapy to learn how to forgive you so I can move on with my life, because I have 3 beautiful daughters and I can't imagine doing what you did to them. So I set myself up to do better for them, to become the mother I never had for them. See, the greatest thing I learned was that your burdens were never mine to carry, but yet I was guilted into believing they were. It was your responsibility as a mother to fix it. It was never mine. I was just a child. Now I am a mother and an adult myself. I get to be in charge of my feelings. You made your choices and your choices weren't my fault. I chose to get help to learn how to compartmentalize the damage. So you are forgiven. I am so happy that you get a second chapter at life. Treat it well. I have moved forward and I will continue to move forward with true love and integrity. So I wish you well in your new journey. Be kind to yourself. I hope that you can learn to take responsibility and respect what I'm asking. Peace and love, your only daughter. Love and respect. So I just want to say thank you so much. This has been an amazing opportunity, and that I can relate to everybody and just let you guys know that you're not alone in whatever you have been through in your life. Because even though in the last 5 years, I went through my cancer journey, I am 2 years chemo free. I'm not cancer free. It just hasn't moved or grown in the last 2 years. But I think because I've done so much healing that I've been able to stop that. And so going forward, I only continue to just keep on healing and being better and teaching people too. So thank you.
It is a journey, y'all. No matter where you're at, if you are just graduating college, if you're going into it, if you're doing your second or 15th job, if you are baby's got the nest, if you are transitioning in your relationships, it's a journey. Continuing to see ourselves as worthy of hope, of healing, of love, of respect, of all of it, of those again moments. It's a journey. Before we close out this episode, I really want to bring somebody up here who was a part of my journey in the earlier years, who saw up close a lot of my mess. And I want to bring up Rena. You need a mic, girl.
Oh, feels nice. Okay. I'm over here in her story. Hold on, let me adjust to yours. Okay.
Yeah, we're feeling a lot of feels right now. The question I have for you, Rena and I have known each other for a very long time. I think we were like 10 years old or something.
Mm-hmm.
Love at first sight. And
she fell in love with me first.
Yeah. Basically. I would like to hear it from you. I share so much professionally that sometimes I can dodge the personal too. So I really want to bring someone who was up in it with me, and I can't polish my way through it. So Rena, I would like you to share with the class here. What did we used to do? You and I have both seen each other through some of the hardest things in life. I can't look at you. Very difficult things. I've seen you be a mother when you were still a teenager. Mm-hmm. I've seen you lose the father of your child. I've seen you through all kinds of things, struggles with your faith, your purpose, the things you wanted, letting go, prioritizing your children, being a single mom. And you've seen a lot of what I've struggled with as a young person. And I'm curious if you could help unpack for us or paint the picture of what we did to deal with all of our problems.
What did we do to deal with all of our problems? Mm-hmm. In those times, we didn't deal with our problems.
I think that you may have a few stories in your back pocket.
Oh, we're going to go there.
Let's take them. Let's take a little picture. And for those who are watching online, we're actually going to pop up some evidence of these days. Maybe
even know what the picture evidence is.
Cool. Yeah. Don't worry, I found some good. But what were some of the things we used to do together?
Lots of things. Let's think of an exciting one. How about you weren't even in the fight. Someone else was in the fight.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Someone got in a fight. I got in the fight because someone was in the fight. We got taken out because we were in the fight.
We were in a club or a bar or something.
She comes out and finds out we were in a fight, runs back in to get in the fight that was already over, and comes out on the security guy's shoulder. Did you have shoes on?
I don't think so. I had a mini dress on. I remember that. I remember kicking and screaming on the security guy's shoulder and begging to go back in and get in the fight because I wanted in it. Because why not? Because I needed to do something with all my anger and my emotions because I wasn't talking about my feelings. So I'm like, I want to get in the fight.
Yeah.
But we would, there's so many nights when we were actually talking about some of the reflections of nights I had to say, well, that one I was conscious of, but not all the stories I remember because there were a lot of blackouts, and you witnessed that up close, but you also saw me. We were very high performing at the same time, which was very confusing for people. Like, I was very involved in school. We did really well academically. I was a full ride scholar athlete. So I was very high performing in different areas. So to be
by day you wore the suit, athlete, employees, moms. By night, over the shoulder was shoeless.
Because we really didn't. I like to say now, like, I would do anything other than feel. I would do anything. I just didn't want to feel anything.
Yeah.
And so if it helped me not feel something, then that's what I wanted to do. If it was a substance, if it was a person who distracted me, if it was like an adrenaline rush that was dangerous, that could just make me feel something that wasn't something bad that I felt. And you really witnessed a lot of that journey. And we call it my party girl phase or whatever we want to call it. What kept you continuing to see like things in me maybe that I wasn't displaying? For me, I'll answer this first. Like, you were a single mom, and I remember the day you showed me a picture of your pregnant belly, and we were going to go to California, and we were going to go to college and surf and all these things. And I remember you were just, as much as it was, what were you, 16?
16.
As much as it was like this huge thing, you were excited. Like, you were always such a great natural mom. And I always was like, if I can't be a mom like that, I don't want to be a mom. And it helped me kind of have, you took care of me too, so sorry about that. But I never felt judged. And I always felt like you allowed me and challenged me to continue to see things in myself I didn't see. And so I want to thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Publicly. I love you. What about your journey helped you choose to be a mom at 16 and also not just be a mom, but be a freaking awesome one?
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, it's just almost like goes hand in hand with like the question of like, what did I see in you, right? Like, why didn't I judge you type of thing? It's just, your facade was the facade. And I saw that facade for what it was, right? I knew your happy face when you were sad. I knew your the things that you did, how much you were hurting, right? So I know those things. And I just feel like in that I had to give myself that grace in that moment, you know, not feeling like it was something that was like the end of my life, but just something. And I didn't even know why. I don't know why you thought I was happy, because I was petrified.
I saw the joy.
I don't. Thank you. I was not expecting that. Yeah, for sure. Obviously. And it changed everything, but it's so natural. Like, it came natural in how much I loved that human being. Like, you know, it's so crazy how it's all about perspective. And that's just like so important for people to understand. Is like, we think like when we're in hard times, sometimes we get stuck in it and we're like, we can't even see the bigger picture. But like sometimes also, we blame that for things like before or after, right? Like I said, this happened because of my this and that, you know, and it's someone else's fault. But in the moment, it was just like, this is not anything I planned. It was nothing. I was finding out in a McDonald's bathroom. It was my first time ever having sex. I thought it was impossible. And it wasn't, and the whole thing changed. But like also in the moment, it was just like, hey, so this is our new step forward. And honestly, that is the beauty and what I wanted you to find for yourself as well. I knew there was going to be a day where there was just a step forward, where it was just going to make sense of like how God was going to use all of this good and bad for good. And you're doing that. So, that was my perspective in becoming a mom as well.
I want someone to join us real quick who helped me transition out of what we call party J to From party girl, from what are we saying? What do they call it? From party girl to PhD. All right. Even though I dropped out 3 times, okay, we still got that done. I went away for college. And so we were separated geographically, and I didn't have a rock. I didn't have anyone. And I went crazy, y'all. I went crazy. I got suspended. I got in a cop car chase. I was blackout wasted. I can't even tell you. I got in a fight. Okay.
Did you win?
I don't remember. I don't even remember who was in it with me. That's how crazy this was. And I was suspended from my athletic program, which I worked so hard to be on scholarship for. And then I also was recommended to go to outpatient rehab and I was mandated to see the school counselor. So after all of this, so basically I had my dream come true of going to college, playing sports, but because I never dealt with my emotions, they followed me to college. Once I decided as an adult, I actually want to make the choice. I hired this person right here. So can we give a round of applause for my former counselor? And I have to say, first and foremost, it was such a big deal to pay. I was a waitress and a bartender and a paraprofessional and a gym training. I had like 10 jobs, and I used my money to get myself healthy. And that I just want to say to someone who maybe is there, like, that's foreign to me. I didn't know what a counselor really was. I didn't know the word coping. I didn't know anything. And before I formally introduce you, I want to tell you a story that maybe you don't know. I always struggled with my faith and my belief in God. And when you've seen horrible things, I think it's natural to question a lot of things about life, about your beliefs. And you told me a story once. You said, do you know the story of the sower and the seed? And I was like, no, I don't know that story. Tell me the story. And you tell me this story. You proceed to tell me. You did not tell me it was a Bible story. Okay, that's the context. Then years later, I end up in a bar in New York City that happens to be a church. And I'm like, what is going on here? Anyways, long story short, the guy starts preaching and I'm freaking out. I'm like, what's happening? People are dancing and singing, and now a guy's like preaching, and I'm like, this is a bar. What's going on here? And they say the story of the sower and the seed, and I'm so excited because I'm like, I know this story. As much as I may have had people who had faith in their life or who knew God, I didn't really have anyone who was teaching me anything about it. And you did in a way where you let me be where I was at. And I think that it has shaped my faith today and how I work with people. And I think I just want to thank you for that, because you didn't project anything on me. You didn't preach anything at me. You didn't even tell me it was a Bible story. I don't even know if you remember this. And, but it shaped so much of my faith walk, because I felt like you didn't judge me and you let me be where I was at on my journey. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, she's like, thank you for helping my bestie. Could you maybe share something you saw that was that part of my journey that you saw an evolution in?
Yeah. What stands out to me, and we've known each other for a while, is how often you have doubted yourself and yet kept going. Mm-hmm. I remember when your first book came out and you wanted me to read it and you wanted my feedback. And it's like, what do you think about your book? You know, I was like, could you just throw me a bone? You know,
can you do that with this one? We'll go to reprint all of your notes.
Yeah. And just, you know, that the doubt was there, but also your willingness to keep going despite the doubt. And I've just really admired that about you. And I feel very blessed to know you. And I mean, even what you're doing right here and just engaging with people and wanting to hear their stories. And there's something there's something vibrant in what you're doing. There's you know, the only thing that I can describe it as God's spirit, you know, here in the room as you're doing what you're doing. And it's beautiful. So thank you.
I would love if each of you could share maybe to our audience or our listeners who may be journeying through something that you have journeyed through, or that maybe you've seen me journey through, just if you had a hope for them or something you would impart for them.
I think, well, I love you, because I didn't know you were the beginning of this. I really didn't. How come you didn't? Anyways,
Yeah.
I never thought the day would come that she would say, like, I found Jesus. I'm like, I think I fainted.
Well, it did start in a bar, so that's
It did. It's a long journey. Yeah, I think that, like he said, there was just so much. You had it all along. You just doubted yourself. You just doubted yourself. You needed the reassurance, and you needed it from everything because you would not give it to yourself. I don't know if it's the journey that I think it goes in correlation with the journey that you grew into and getting to know yourself and learning healthier ways. But if there's any advice I could give anyone, is the blessing that you got is that seeking the wisdom of God. God is the peace we are all seeking. So you might find success, you might find what you've been looking for, what you've been fighting for. And so many people do that and they're still seeking something. And I know that, and I feel like that is what they're seeking. So I never thought you would find it. And I'm so glad that you did. And I think that's the game changer for how he's going to use you and why all this happened and how he's going to use it for his good through you. And that's such a beautiful thing. So I want that for everybody. I really do. I'm so proud of you.
Come a little ways.
I
In the
know,
bar
girl.
days. Is there something you hear people's stories of health all the time. It's your profession. Is there something for anyone listening that you would want to impart or share if they're going through a journey that might be difficult?
Yeah, I think that we can all look back in our lives, and even though we've all gone through difficult things, there are moments, and it could be looking into the face of a newborn or a particularly striking sunset. There's something that captivates us, and it's like in that moment we're not in our head. We're just in the moment. And then the question is there a way that we can organize our life to be more available to those kind of moments? And I think about that as a God moment, and so we know that they're happening, but most of the time we miss them because we're so, preoccupied with other things. And so, and it can be a conversation like this where it happens, but so how do I, set my life up to be able to experience those?
I love that.
Yeah,
Thank
it's so
you
true.
so
Be
much.
more intentional, absolutely.
I truly believe that sometimes you don't have to have an agenda. You just have to come together and allow each other to be here, present, and things can happen. I feel like what changed my life was continuing to hear the stories of other people, and it just continued to humanize everybody in social issues that I'm frustrated about and self issues, all the things. The more stories I heard, it was reshaping my heart. And I just pray and I hope that is something that continues to happen. And I'm believing that Journey with Dr. J is the beginning of that, and that we continue to have spaces in fun ways where we bachata dance like we did today, but we also can get real and be able to process things that maybe we don't want to feel, because that's the only way towards healing and towards hope. I know I never want to go on a journey alone. And that is why Journey with Dr. J exists, because I tried the alone thing and I could do it, I can, but I don't want to anymore. It's a lot more fun when we journey together. So thank you all for listening and for watching. Wherever you're at on your journey, keep going, keep growing, and never lose that fire inside that lights your path towards hope. Stay tuned for more, and welcome to Journey with Dr. J. We're out.